Hi, I'm Anita. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a tutorial using items from my recent order from Beebeecraft. Video link to this previous unboxing is in the description box below if you'd like to look at that. Beebeecraft is an online craft supply store. They sell beads, findings, jewelry making supplies, tools, and much more. They offer free shipping on orders over $25. Also, if you have a YouTube channel with at least 100 subscribers, you can apply to participate in their YouTube program, receive products, and do product reviews and tutorials for them. It's a pretty cool program. There will be a link posted in the description box below to check out that program if you're interested. If you'd like to place an order with Beebeecraft, I have a coupon code, ANITA20, that will save you 10% off your entire order. My discount code will be in the description box below. Links in the description box below apply to all the products used in today's tutorial. You'll see the Beebeecraft links and any other beads from my stash. I'll also have the links to those sources if you want to know where I got those as well. Use the link to the Beebeecraft homepage in the description box to place your order. Okay, so let's go over some of the tools you're going to be needing for today's tutorial. So starting from the upper right corner of the screen, you're going to need a pair of round nose pliers, wire cutters, and I also am using a pair of crimp pliers that has a skinny tip. You're going to need 6-pound fire line in crystal, a size 12 beading needle, probably 2 beading needles, and as far as the fire line for each component, because this bracelet is made in components, you're going to need about 1 yard for each component. So depending on how many components you use, you can determine the length of fire line you need. Now you're also going to need a pair of sharp scissors, a split ring pair of pliers, a couple of pair of flat nose pliers, and I have 2 different types, a wide grip and a skinny grip. So let me get a close-up for the materials and I'll tell you about those next. Okay, a lot of these came from my recent Beebeecraft order, and I will have a link to that video unboxing if you'd like to see that. The first item, starting on my upper right here, these are Miyuki round Rocailles beads, 11-0. The color is called Dyed Aqua Green, Silver Lined Alabaster. That was in my Beebeecraft order. These next seed beads are for my bead stash. These are Miyuki 11-0s in galvanized silver. This next group of beads are glass white pearls. This came from my Beebeecraft order. And these are 4mm in white. And I'm also using these real pretty 4mm dark purple electroplated glass pearls. This was from my recent Beebeecraft order. You're also going to need some 8mm Rivolis, and this was from Beebeecraft. Very beautiful. You're going to need, I'm using about 7 for today's tutorial, so depending on the length of bracelet, you can adjust accordingly. So our next item here are 11-0s in a very light purple. The color is called Purple Lined Crystal, and those are from my bead stash, and I'll have a link to those as well. And then these at the end here are 15-0 Miyukis, galvanized silver, from my bead stash. Then we have some 3mm size bugle beads, and this is a matte opaque light blue color, and I believe I got these from another vendor, so I'll have a link for that as well. Then for findings, you're going to need a lobster clasp, and I've got a couple of split rings. These came from my Beebeecraft order. This is a 14 by 8mm lobster clasp, nice size. I also have an extender chain from my bead stash, a ball head pin. This is about 1.25 inch size. I have a 6mm open jump ring for my bead stash, and another split ring from my Beebeecraft order. And the split rings came from this assortment of split rings on my Beebeecraft order, and you'll see that in the unboxing video if you'd like to check that out. Okay, so let me clear my area and we'll get started. Okay, to start your project, you're going to thread your needle with about 1 yard or 30 to 36 inches of fire line on your needle. And you can use a stop bead. I'm not going to today, but you want to have at least a 6 to 8 inch tail on your thread. So we're going to start by picking up our 4mm in purple, a silver 11-0, the alabaster green, and another silver and 11-0. And you're going to do that 4 times. So here's what you should have on your needle. And you're going to bring that down. And you want to leave a long enough tail. I'm going to leave about 8 inches because I want to be able to do my clasp on the other end. So from here you're going to bring your needle through the first bead that we started with and pull. So that's what you should have so far. Okay, so now that we have all of our beads on, you've gone through that first 4mm pearl there. You're going to reinforce all the way around until you're coming back out of that bead where we started. So go ahead and reinforce, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, I've reinforced all the way around, and my thread is coming out of this 4mm purple bead. From here, I'm going to advance through my next 2 beads. So you want your needle coming out of the alabaster green. So from here, we're going to pick up 4 of our 50-0s in galvanized silver. Like that. We're exiting this green alabaster, and we're going to bring our needle into the next green alabaster. Right there. So when you pull these, you want your 50-0s to sit in front of the 4mm purple bead, like that. Pull that nice and snug. Pick up another 4 50-0s in galvanized silver. Exiting here, going into our next green alabaster bead, right there. And we're going to do that 2 more times. So that's what you should have so far. Pull that nice and snug. Pull your tail thread so that that is nice and snug. And right now my needle is coming out of this green alabaster. I'm going to advance my needle through the next 2 beads. That's the 11-0 in silver and the 4mm purple bead. So now we'll go on to the next step. We're going to pick up an 11-0 in silver, the green alabaster, and another 11-0 in silver. You're exiting this 4mm purple. We're going into the next 4mm purple, like that. You want to pull that, and you want to push that so that's sitting on top of the other one, like that. And you're going to do that 3 more times. And then I'll meet you for the next step. Okay, coming down to my last set of 11-0 in silver, alabaster green and silver. I'm exiting this 4mm purple, and I'm going into my last purple bead right here. Pull that nice and snug. Push that on top. So that's what you should have so far. And it's shaping like a little bowl. So from here we're going to advance through the next 3 beads, like that. So from here, for our next step, we're going to pick up one of our bugle beads. We're exiting this last galvanized silver of this group of 3. we're going to skip the pearl or the dark purple glass bead here, and we're going to go in through the next 3 beads like that. Pull, and you want the bugle to sit in front of the dark purple bead like that. We're going to do that 3 more times. Pick up a bugle, exit here, go in through the next 3 beads, pull, and I'm going to do that 2 more times. Just try to keep your tail thread out of the way. So that completes adding our round of bugle beads. So for here, the next step, you're going to put in your 8mm Rivoli crystal, right side up, and you're just going to set that in there and gently hold that with your thumb. Try to keep your thread snug. We're going to advance through the next bugle bead and just gently hold it in with your finger. It'll get tighter as we get these next 2 rows added. So from here, your thread is coming out of this bugle bead. We're going to pick up 3 50-nose in the galvanized silver. We're exiting this bugle bead. We're going to go into the next bugle bead like that. Hold your crystal down with your thumb, gently pull, and you want those 3 50-nose to sit in front of that last group of 3 beads like that. Pick up 3 more 50-nose, exiting this bugle, going into the next bugle. And pull. And I'm going to do that 2 more times. So that completes that step. If your crystal comes out, just pop it back in and tighten up your tension. We're going to put another row, and that will tighten it up so it won't be flopping around. So right now we're exiting our bugle bead. We're going to advance our needle through the next 3 50-nose. Now you're going to pick up 2 50-nose in galvanized silver. We're exiting these 3 beads here, skipping the bugle. We're going to go into the next 3 50-nose. Pull nice and snug. We're going to do that 3 more times, and each time you add, you want to pull it nice and snug. So that completes this round. So now that we've added those increments of 2, we're going to reinforce all the way around until we're coming out of these 3 beads where we started. So go ahead and reinforce, and then we'll go on to the next step. I've just finished reinforcing, and my thread is coming out of these 3 50-nose right here. So from here, I'm going to advance my needle through the bugle bead, now I'm going to advance my needle through the next 3 beads, these 3 11-ohs here, and now I'm going to advance through the 4mm dark purple glass pearl. So that's where you want your thread coming out of to complete your component. So from here, we're going to take our tail thread and thread another needle on, because we're going to embellish the back by adding another bead. I don't like the pocket there, so I'm going to embellish one more step, and then we'll go on to the connecting process. So go ahead and thread your tail thread with a needle, and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, I've threaded my tail thread with another needle, and right now my thread is coming out of this 4mm dark purple bead. I'm going to advance through the next two beads, the silver and the green. Now I'm going to advance my needle. I want it coming out of the two middle beads of the 4 15-0s. So I'm going to go in through the first 3 beads. It's tricky getting it in there. So that's where I want my needle coming out of, the 3rd bead. So from here, I'm going to pick up a 15-0. I'm going to go in through the 2 center beads of this next group of 4 right here, like that, and pull. And I'm going to do that 3 more times. Pick up another 15-0 in silver. Exiting these 2 center beads here, I'm going to advance my needle through the 2 middle beads of the next group of 4. Pick up another 15-0. Go through these next 2. Like that. Pull. Pick up another 15-0 in silver. Going through these next 2 beads here. And pull. And notice that closes that up a little bit more. So from here you're going to reinforce all the way around, and then you're going to clip your thread off, and then I'll meet you back for the next step. Okay, just to show you where I'm ending up after I reinforce this, I'm just going to advance my needle through these 2 beads here. Then I'm just going to work my way up. Now I'm going through these green and silver bead right here. Just going to run my thread through a few more beads, and then I'll clip it off. You don't have to do any knots here. The weave is pretty tight, so I'm going to bring that through. A few more beads. And we're going to go ahead and clip this tail thread off right here. So that completes this unit. And we have our working thread coming out of this purple bead right here. So I've made a total of 7 components for that, and I'm going to show you how to connect those in the next step. Okay, so from here I have my other components done, and depending on the length that you want will determine how many components you need. This bracelet's going to end up being 6.5 to 7 inch. 6.5 to 7.5 inch bracelet using my extender chain. So you can make this accordingly. If you don't need an extra component at the end, you can just do your clasp to make this shorter. So just adjust it as you need for whatever size you're trying to make. So here are the connections that I've done so far. So just pretend that's not here. So to do your connection, it's very, very simple. You've got your working thread coming out of your component here, and that's coming out of the top like that. So from here I'm going to pick up 5 11-0 seed beads in that light purple color. Like that. It's kind of a lavender color. So I've got my 5 beads on. My thread is coming out of this purple bead here, out of the top. I'm going to bring my needle in through the next connector or next component, going in through the top to connect these 2 pieces. Like that. So I'm going to repeat that on this side, picking up 5 11-ohs in this purple, or more like a lavender. Like that. Exiting this bead, going in through the opposite side of where we started. Right there. Pull. So that's the basis, or the base, for getting our pearl in there. So from here, I want to reinforce this all the way around. So I'm going to go back through all 5 of these, and it's going to be kind of loose until we've reinforced it. So just pull your thread through, go back through the purple bead, then go back through these 5 beads, back through the purple, 4 millimeter, pull nice and snug. And now we're going to bring our thread through the next 4, actually. We're going to bring our thread so that it's coming out of the center bead here. So we want to come through the next 3 11-ohs. Like that. So now we're going to pick up our pearl in white, and we're going to come in on the opposite side. We want to go in that middle bead on the same side from left to right, like that. Pull your thread. Now we're going to bring our needle back up through the pearl. And now I want to bring my thread back through the opposite side of where we started. So I'm going right to left in that center 11-oh right there. And pull. That will anchor the pearl nice and centered in that little crevice there for you. So from here, I'm going to advance through the next 2 beads, down through the pearl, now I'm going to bring my needle through the first purple bead right there. So from here I'm going to pick up 4 15-ohs in the galvanized silver. I'm exiting this 11-oh, this first 11-oh, and I'm going to go through this 11-oh, the second 11-oh, through the next 3 beads like this. Pull your thread, and that's going to place those right alongside the pearl. So now we're coming out of the next to the last light purple bead. We're going to pick up 4 more 15-ohs in galvanized silver. We're exiting the 4th bead. We're going to come to the opposite side and go into that second purple bead and bring your needle through all 4 on that opposite side like that, and pull. And that embellishes around the pearl. So from here I want to get my needle to the outside so that I can add my finished O-ring and extender chain. So I'm just going to advance following the thread path, coming up through the dark purple bead. And just bring your needle through all of the 11 O's in light lavender. Like that. Advance through these next 3 11 O's. Through the bugle. Through these next 3 11 O's. And now we're going to exit through the end bead, this 4mm in purple at the end. So your thread should be coming out right here. So from here we're going to be adding our extender chain and our O-ring and one of our split rings here. We're also going to do an embellishment on the end. Okay, we're going to start by doing our dangle on our extender chain. To go ahead and get that out of the way. So take your ball head pin and one of your 4mm in dark purple, like that. I'm going to take my round nose pliers and place that on top of the bead, like that, at the very tip. Fold that over at a right angle, 90 degrees, so it's down towards the table. Rotate your pliers. Now you're going to pull that towards you and down towards the table. Rotate your pliers and then pull that towards the table, like that. So from here I'm going to open that loop so we can get our extender chain on, and just slide that through one of the links on the end. Like that. Now we're going to take our crimping tool to hold one end. Try and squeeze that together. And I'm going to take my other pliers and we're going to wrap this around a couple of times to get a grip here. Bring that down. And I'm going to clip that right there. So we'll take our wire cutters, clip that close. And now what I'm going to do is hold this with one set of pliers and then squish that little sharp edge down. So we're going to hold this end. And this is where I like to use my skinny crimping tool, because it can get in tight places. So I'm just going to squeeze this down, get that sharp edge, and just feel that with your finger to make sure there's no rough edges, and that feels pretty good. So that's the dangle for our extender chain. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add a split ring at the end. Now when you're adding the split ring to your lobster clasp, I'll show you how this crimping or this tool works for the pliers for split rings. So this is your split ring pliers, and just to show you how it works, you take your split ring like that. You notice that it's like a mini key ring, and you're just going to place your pliers where the two meet and squeeze, and see how that opens that up. So then you slide your lobster clasp on, and you might need to do that with another hand tool, and so that makes a really nice secure fastening for your lobster clasp like that. So that's how you use your split ring tool. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to add the split ring at the end. So let me get my pliers. And I'm going to open this 6mm jump ring like that, and I'm going to have my split ring on one end and my chain on the other end like that. And now I'm going to close this. So I have my split ring at the end, and then I have a 6mm and then my extender chain. So from here we're going to add this to our bracelet. So right now my thread is coming out of this purple bead here. We're going to pick up 2 11/0 in galvanized silver, an alabaster green 11/0, and then we're also going to pick up one of our purple beads like that. And then from here I'm going to go through my split ring and I'm going to pick up another 4mm in purple, an alabaster green, and then my 2 11/0 in silver. And I'm going to come down through the opposite side of where I started like that and pull. And you want that split ring to sit in between so that your thread is not being directly on the split ring, and this kind of gives it a little more security like that. So from here we're going to advance our thread all the way around 2 more times. Okay, so we have reinforced a total of 3 times, so that's nice and secure. From here I'm going to advance my thread through these next 3 beads. I'm going to do a half hitch knot here by coming under the thread bridge, create a loop, then go back through that loop. Advance to the next bead. I'm going to do another half hitch knot here, go under a thread bridge, through the loop, pull, and now I'm just going to advance my thread through a few more beads, and then I'm going to clip that off. And it doesn't really matter what direction you go to do this. And I'm going to clip my thread right here. Okay, so we'll clip this off, and let me get this all arranged. Okay, here is our completed bracelet. Isn't that beautiful? This came out really nice, and this ended up measuring, as I mentioned, I believe it's going to be 6.5 to a 7.5 inch. Yeah, 6.5 to 7.5 inch. So you can adjust accordingly, using more or less of the components. Super easy to make. That concludes today's tutorial using Beebeecraft products. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and thank you for joining me today. There will be links in the description box below with all the Beebeecraft products used in today's tutorial. Use the link to the Beebeecraft homepage to place your order. If you decide you'd like to place an order with Beebeecraft, my coupon code ANITA20 will save you 10% off your order. If you're not a subscriber, I hope that you do subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed and liked and commented on my videos. I really appreciate your return visits. I have a website where I sell my own jewelry. It's called Bead Creations by Anita-768558.square.site. There's a link to my website in the description box if you'd like to check out my creations. Also, keep an eye out for periodic sales and some great deals. Have a wonderful week and happy beading. See you next time, everyone.